Thank you. Well, good afternoon. The power of participation. What does participation mean to you? Think about what that means. You know, to me, participation means collaboration. It means a community. It means an ecosystem. Participation is taking action to build collaboration, a community, and an ecosystem. But to do that, you have to have a common belief, a common direction, where you're headed. At Intel, we believe in the virtuous cycle of growth. That's where we're headed, to drive the virtuous cycle of growth. Now, it's a cycle, so there's no real beginning or end. But let's look at the devices. Billions of devices out there. What are they doing? They're generating data, lots of data. That's going to the data center to be mined for value. That then is turned into products and services that generates what? The demand for more devices. In turn, generates more data. And that's the virtuous cycle of growth. Now, today, that is driven by people. Tomorrow, that will be driven by things. And let me tell you what that looks like. Today, people generate, on average, about 650 megabytes of data per day. It's a large number. Cisco projects that by 2020, it'll be around 1.5 gigabytes of data per day. So people are generating a lot of data that can be mined for value. But they also predict by 2020, those 50 billion connected devices, 47% of those will be things generating data. Why is that relevant? Well, those things consist of things like connected hospitals, generating 3,000 gigabytes of data. Connected cars or autonomous driving cars, 4,000 gigabytes of data. Connected airplane, 40,000 gigabytes of data. And a connected factory, over 1 million gigabytes of data, outstripping the power of people generating the growth to things. That's driving momentum. But what else is going to drive that momentum? It's going to be software. All those devices need the power of software and the power of open source software. A great number of those devices run open source software. And that's why at Intel we invest so much in open source software, whether it's working on the Linux kernel or delivering things like Yocto, which is a tool that allows developers to build a robust embedded operating environment for embedded solutions. Over 50% of those solutions use Yocto today. Or whether you need a real-time micro kernel, real-time OS, with Zephyr. And it's 50 billion connected devices. So connecting these devices in a standard, robust, manageable, secure way is critical. And that's why we started the Open Connectivity Framework Foundation. That is so critical to have an open way, an open standard for these devices to interoperate in a standards-based way. IoTivity is the project that's driving the first implementation, reference implementation of OCF. Now, when that data is generated, it needs to be mined for value. And therefore, you need to have a robust data center, modernized, taking advantage of software-defined infrastructure. And guess what's one of the cornerstones of that software-defined infrastructure? It's OpenStack. And that's why it's so critical that we evolve and move forward the OpenStack capability for the data center of the future. And there's many more projects that we're working on to ensure that that data center is robust for these new workloads. What do all these things have in common? Yes, they're software projects, but most importantly, they're open source software projects. And open source is delivering the same value today as it did in the beginning. It's given our customers choice. That's what they want. They want that choice. It's allowing them to scale. With the participation of the open source community, they can now scale. They can drive those capabilities at a much more rapid pace with the participation of the community. And if you look at the recent survey from Oxford economists, they say that 41% of executives today see open source as a critical capability to drive their new products and services to their customers. So it's about choice, it's about scalability, and it's about innovation. We're seeing that today in many industry segments. Here's just 4 examples of what we're seeing, bringing real value to real customers, taking advantage of open source capabilities. In the entertainment area, we have Digital Film Tree. They're a post-production house. It takes thousands of hours of video to consolidate that into a 1-hour television show. They're using the power of OpenStack and open source to generate that value and drive it down to mobile devices for faster interaction. One of the leading automotive manufacturers is using open source and OpenStack to get insights to their customers, to improve the services and products they deliver. In the banking industry, PayPal has been very vocal about using open source as a way to generate development capabilities for their platforms to meet the ever-demanding capabilities their customers require. And finally, in the transportation industry is modernizing. Bud Van Lines is a very, very large moving company, moving thousands of families a day, but they're also moving mass amounts of data. And so they're using things like OpenStack and OpenSwift to manage that storage capability that's so critical to deliver that value to their customers. Now at Intel, we don't think this is enough. We want to continue to drive these capabilities and drive that momentum and that virtuous cycle of growth. And this is why we launched Intel Cloud for All. Now you saw that video, it has some statistics. One of the statistics was the number of developers participating. It said 27,000. That video was produced several months ago. It's already out of date because of the momentum of participation. There's already 25% growth to 34,000 plus participants today. Again, the power of participation momentum being driven. This is to say that we launched an initiative, but we can't do this on our own. We need everybody in this room to help participate. We're investing upstream to deliver more capabilities. We're working for optimized workloads to make sure it meets the needs of your enterprise environment. And then we're aligning the industry to ensure that solutions are actually deployable in a mature way in your environment. So what are we doing in investing? So last year, with Rackspace, Intel launched OSIC, OpenStack Innovation Platform. Is that up here? Get forward here. And with Rackspace at Intel, what was our goal? Our goal was to train developers, grow the development community, get more participants. And we're doing that today, training hundreds of engineers. We formed the largest joint development team, putting people, co-locating people, looking at OpenStack, finding the gaps, and driving upstream capabilities to drive robustness and ease of deployment of OpenStack. And then finally, we built the largest cluster of servers to test and validate solutions that everybody can participate with. The first company to jump in and participate was Red Hat. They're building robust, scalable solutions, and they're using that infrastructure to test their solutions before they go to market. And you could do the same. So go to osic.org and learn how to participate and help accelerate the innovation in OpenStack. We also need to look inside OpenStack. We describe this as keeping an open mind. Taking a look at what's done today, is it the right way of doing it? Can we do something different? So we took that philosophy internal to my group. We put a very small team of people on a project and said, if you had a clean slate and you could look at the scheduling orchestration capabilities of OpenStack, what would you do, knowing what you know today? We'd like it to be secure, deployable, lightweight, high performant. What happened after 5 months? We call this the Chow solution. You can see it today on GitHub. It's called Cloud Integrated Advanced Orchestration. It's a mouthful. But what they did is exactly what we asked them to do with a clean slate of paper. It now schedules VMs, containers, bare metal workloads, the same workloads equally in an environment with 10 to 100x performance in the scheduling. That's the power of having an open mind and a participation. We also challenged the groups between Red Hat and Intel to look at some of the things that we're struggling with in OpenStack. One of them is managing the deployment of scale of OpenStack. And so we looked outside of OpenStack to see how other things we could utilize. Not reinventing the wheel, but leveraging what is already out there in the industry. We're now looking at things like Kubernetes to see if we can move the management plane to a containerized view to ease the deployment of scale of OpenStack and driving that up into the Cola open source project. So having an open mind, looking at the industry and seeing if we can leverage what's already there to make OpenStack a better platform. Again, participating to make it better. We're doing that together. Upstream development is important, but so is optimizing workloads that you can take advantage of in your environment. We want to ensure that we build environments and solutions that take advantage of the latest architecture and the latest platform capabilities. Intel launched our Builder programs, focused on 4 areas. Intel Cloud Builder programs is focused on defining and driving the future software-defined infrastructure, utilizing things like the Intel rack scale architecture, designed to enable better manageability of that infrastructure. Things like the storage builders. You saw how much data is going to be generated by those 50 billion connected devices. Memory and storage is going to be absolutely foundational to delivering on these workloads. And so learning the advanced and the latest technologies like SSDs, non-volatile memory, other technologies that are growing in that space and how to modernize your storage environment is critical. Just like it is in the network side, taking advantage of the tools and capabilities and the new techniques that we have, using DBDK and other techniques to accelerate your network. And then finally, for the high performance computing environment, to ensure that you're taking advantage of the latest fabric technologies to accelerate your computing capabilities for high performance computing. But what does this need? What is missing here? We just can't launch programs. We have to have participation. And look at what we have already. We have over 340 partner companies participating. They've already generated 259 technical publications that you can take advantage of. Over 1,700 developers have been trained already participating, delivering value that all of you can take advantage of. Again, the power of participation is real. And finally, we're looking at aligning. Now, I stood on stage last year at the Red Hat Summit in Boston, and I talked about aligning and the importance of alignment. And there was, in my keynote, there was 2 critical things that I wanted you to remember. The first one, if you remember, there's a 5K race. If you guys remember, I destroyed Paul Cormier in that race. If you looked at the picture, you could see me at the finish line, and you could barely see Paul because of the curvature of the earth. He was so far behind me. Yeah, let's go right up. Yeah, that's it. And I'm going to do it again this year. Sorry, Paul. All right. What I did talk about was our extensions to the Onramp. Working together with Red Hat, driving upstream capabilities in 4 vectors: ease of deployment, tenants and services, and rollouts. All these capabilities driving into the upstream projects to ensure that we made a much more robust and OpenStack deployment. But we also needed partners to bring these capabilities to market, enterprise partners. So we talked about what Cisco and Dell and their commitment to delivering validated designs, design guides, blueprints, technical papers, all the things you needed to have a solution stack that you could be confident in deploying in your market. And that's what they've stepped up to do and launched their validated designs. Cisco has their validated design they launched in February, and Dell has their Dell Cloud Builder program, all designed to drive momentum with robust solutions. What's that give you as an enterprise user? It gives you the combined expertise of Intel, Dell, Red Hat, Cisco, and others in the ecosystem, all that expertise combined to deliver the best-in-class solutions. It gives you the simplification of adopting this in your environment. And it'll give you the confidence that there is going to be a mature solution that you can count on for enterprise workloads. That is absolutely critical to drive that momentum. But we also need developers. We need developers to build solutions that you can take advantage of. Developers come in all shapes and sizes. We want to accelerate the development of what we call born-in-cloud applications. We want to ensure that developers have the opportunity to develop applications that take advantage of the scale of the cloud. Cloud Native Computing Foundation worked with us to sponsor a 1,000-node Xeon cluster for developers to take advantage of. So when they build their born-on-cloud applications, they have a place to test their solution. That is an idea that we put together to help drive participation from the software community to deliver valuable services in your environment. So Cloud for All is about investing upstream to make the most robust, easy-to-deploy, scalable solution. It's about ensuring that we work together to build optimized solutions around workloads that are critical for your environment. And it's about aligning the ecosystem, the enterprise players, to deliver those solutions, and then getting momentum around a developer ecosystem that can build better and better solutions for your environment. We've committed for over 2 decades. I feel old. Paul and I have committed to working together to drive upstream capabilities for Red Hat and Intel, to drive that capability upstream to deliver better and better, more robust downstream capabilities. We remain committed to that. And we remain committed to work with the community to ensure we drive innovation into the market. Nothing has changed. What we did in enterprise Linux, carrier-grade Linux, we're going to be doing the same thing in the cloud together, ensuring that we have robust, open platforms for others to participate with. And we need that participation from all of you. We are convinced at Intel of the virtuous cycle of growth. We are absolutely convinced this is happening today, driven by people, going to be powered and momentum growing with things. We have the opportunity to work together to make certain that open source is a key fuel to the momentum around this growth. So my ask of you is to participate, to get involved, get engaged, make these solutions much more powerful than they are today, much more robust. Participate, and let's grow together. Thank you very much.